If you run a concrete company and you want to know exactly how to spend $100 a day on Facebook ads and actually get real jobs out of it, that's what this video is. I'm going to give you the full plan step by step. And I'm not just going to tell you what to set up and walk away. I've worked with concrete companies running this exact budget, and I've seen what happens when there's an actual plan behind it versus when guys are just winging it and hoping something works. The difference is night and day. So here's how this is going to work. I'm breaking this into 3 phases. The first 30 days, the next 30, and the 30 after that. By the end of this, you're gonna know exactly what to build, what to expect at each stage, and what realistic results look like when you actually commit to 90 days. And I wanna be clear, $100 a day is not some massive budget, that's $3,000 a month, but when it's spent right with a real plan behind it, that $3,000 can turn into $80,000 or $90,000 in concrete jobs. And I'm gonna show you the math on that in a minute. But if you skip this and keep winging it, running ads for 2 weeks, getting frustrated, turning them off, you're gonna keep ending up in the same spot, wondering where next month's work is coming from, hoping referrals pick up, stressing about keeping your guys busy. The difference between the concrete companies that make ads work and the ones that don't isn't the budget, it's the plan. So why $100 a day? Why not 50? Why not 20? Here's the thing most concrete guys don't realize about Facebook ads. Facebook's algorithm needs data to work, and every time someone sees your ad, clicks on it, fills out the form, or doesn't, Facebook is learning. It's figuring out who in your area is actually likely to need concrete work and who's just scrolling past. But it can only learn if you're giving it enough to work with. At 20 bucks a day, you're getting maybe 1 lead every 2 or 3 days, and that's almost nothing. The algorithm's basically starving because it doesn't have enough information to figure out who to show your ads to. So it guesses, and the leads are terrible. And you turn it off after 2 weeks and tell yourself Facebook ads don't work for concrete. $100 a day is where it clicks. That's enough volume for Facebook to actually learn your market, find the right homeowners, and start delivering leads that are worth your time. Now, let me show you what that actually looks like in dollars and jobs. 100 a day is about 3,000 a month. And in most markets, you're paying somewhere between $20 and $50 per lead. So let's call it 40 to keep the math simple. That gives you about 75 leads a month coming in. Now, not all of those are going to turn into jobs. That's just how it works. But if your team is booking about half of those for estimates, that's roughly 37 estimates going out. And if you're closing around 30% of your estimates, which is a solid number for residential concrete, that's about 11 jobs. 11 jobs at an average of $8,000 each. That's roughly $88,000 in revenue from $3,000 in ad spend. That works out to about $270 to acquire a job that pays you $8,000. Now compare that to Angie or Thumbtack, where you're paying 50 bucks for a lead that's shared with 3 or 4 other contractors, close rates that are terrible, and you're realistically spending $750 or more just to land a single job. So the budget isn't the question, the plan is the question. And that starts with how you set up the campaign. And here's where most concrete companies overcomplicate things. They think they need multiple campaigns and a bunch of different audiences and to be managing things 24/7. You don't need any of that. You need one campaign. So you're gonna open up Ads Manager, and I don't mean the boost button on your Facebook page because that's a completely different thing. Boosting a post is designed to get you likes and comments, not leads. You want to go into Ads Manager and create a campaign with the leads objective. And what that does is it tells Facebook that your goal is to get people to fill out a form. So it's going to show your ad to the people in your area who are most likely to actually do that. Now, when you're setting this up, Facebook's going to try to turn on a bunch of stuff called advantage settings, advantage targeting, advantage placements, advantage budget, and you want to turn all that off. Those settings basically let Facebook spend your money however it wants, including showing your ads to people way outside your service area, and you don't want that. For targeting, keep it really simple. Age 30 to 65, and plug in the zip codes you actually service, not a 50-mile radius, actual zip codes, because that way you can see later on which areas are producing leads and which ones are dead weight, and you can cut them. And don't mess with interest targeting. It used to work, but right now those audiences are just too small. They burn out in a week or 2, and they actually end up costing you more per lead. Just go broad and let Facebook's algorithm do the work with the data you're feeding it. For the lead form, you're gonna use Facebook's built-in instant forms and make sure you turn on high intent mode. What that does is it forces people to confirm their information instead of just allowing them to one-click submit, because without that, you get people who submit that form almost by accident, and don't even remember doing it when you call them. And then add one qualifying question, something like, our minimum project starts at $3,000. Is that within your budget? Just a simple yes or no. If they tap no, the form closes and they can't submit. That one question filters out the tire kickers before they ever hit your phone. And it actually trains Facebook's algorithm to find more people like the ones who said yes. And then the last piece is creative. And you don't need a production crew for this. You just need your phone. The best performing ads for concrete companies right now are selfie style videos shot on the job site. 30 to 60 seconds, you or one of your guys standing next to a finished driveway or patio, flip the camera to show the work, flip it back and say something like, hey, if you've been thinking about a new driveway, we're booking estimates right now, just tap the link below. Shoot 2 or 3 of those, throw in a couple of static images, like some nice before and afters with a little text on them, and you've got more than enough creative to launch. And make sure you put captions on everything because most people are scrolling with the sound off. So that's your whole campaign. One campaign, a few pieces of creative, and a lead form that filters out the people who aren't serious. You can honestly set this whole thing up in an afternoon, and once it's live, that's when day 1 of your 90-day plan starts. And this next part is important because the first 30 days trip up more concrete guys than anything else. So your campaign's live, $100 a day is running, and within the first day or 2, you're gonna start seeing some leads come in. And that feels great at first. You've got names and phone numbers showing up, people saying they want a driveway or a patio, and you're thinking, okay, this might actually work. But then you start calling some of them, and some of them don't pick up. Some of them don't remember filling out the form, and some of them want small sidewalk repair for 500 bucks. And this is the moment where most concrete guys panic and pull the plug. Don't. This is completely normal in the first couple of weeks, and here's why. Facebook is still learning. It's testing different people in your area, seeing who engages with your ad, who fills out the form, who's actually a real homeowner with a real project. It hasn't figured that out yet because it doesn't have enough data yet. And that's exactly what the first 30 days are for. The algorithm gets smarter every single day, and the lead quality in week 3 and 4 is going to be noticeably better than week 1. But you have to get through week 1 to get there. Now here's the part that most guys completely miss, and honestly this is where more money gets wasted than on the ads themselves. It's what happens after the lead comes in. You can have the best campaign in the world, but if you're calling people back 4 or 5 hours later, or the next morning, you're gonna lose them. The window on a Facebook lead is minutes, not hours. These aren't people who went to Google and searched concrete contractor near me. They were scrolling, they saw your ad, they were interested in that moment, and if you don't get back to them while they're still thinking about it, they've moved on. So the first thing you need is an automated text that goes out the second someone fills out your form, within 60 seconds. Something simple like, hey, thanks for reaching out with your company name. We got your request and someone from our team is gonna be calling you shortly. That's it. You're just letting them know you're real and you're on it. Your receptionist or office manager can set this up through a CRM like Go High Level or Jobber. And once it's built, it just runs on its own. Then you or whoever handles your calls needs to actually pick up the phone and call them. And if they don't answer the first time, hang up and call back immediately. I know that sounds aggressive, but 2 calls back to back from the same number makes people think it's important, and they pick up at a way higher rate than if you just call once and leave a voicemail. If they still don't answer on the second try, then leave the voicemail and let your CRM follow up automatically over the next few days with a couple more texts. And don't give up on leads after 1 attempt. Most jobs from Facebook leads are won on the 3rd or 4th follow-up, not the first call. Your CRM should be following up 3, 4, 5 times over the course of a week, because people are busy, they're at work, they've got kids, and just because they didn't pick up at 2 in the afternoon doesn't mean they're not interested. So your milestone for month 1 is this. You should have more estimates going out than you did before you started running ads. It's not gonna be perfect and the leads aren't all going to be home runs, but you should be seeing more activity in your pipeline and your estimators should be busier. That's how you know it's working even when it doesn't feel like it yet. Month 1 is about trusting the process, getting your follow-up system dialed in, and letting the algorithm learn your market. Month 2 is where it starts to click. So if you made it through month 1, you didn't turn off your ads, good, because month 2 is where you start seeing why you stuck with it. By now, you've got about 30 days of data sitting in your ad account, and that changes everything. You can actually see which ads are performing and which ones aren't. Maybe that selfie video you shot in front of the stamped patio is getting leads at 25 bucks each, but the static before and after image is sitting at 60 and barely pulling anything in. Now you know, you don't have to guess anymore. Turn off what's working and keep running what is, and put more budget behind the winners. This is also when you want to refresh your creative. Even your best performing ad is gonna start wearing out after a few weeks because Facebook has shown it to the best people in your audience, and now it's reaching further into people who are less likely to convert. So shoot a new video, Go to your next finished job, pull out your phone, do the same thing you did before. 30 to 60 seconds, show the work, make your offer. You don't need to reinvent anything. You just need something fresh for the algorithm to work with. One new piece of creative a month is enough to keep things running. And here's what should be happening with your leads by this point. They should be getting better. The algorithm has 30 days of data on who's actually filling out your form, who's picking up the phone, who's booking estimates. It's getting smarter about who to show your ads to. And you should be feeling that in the quality of the calls you're getting. Less of, I just want a small patch, and more of, we're looking to do our whole driveway and maybe the back patio too. But the biggest thing about month 2 is this. You should be closing real jobs from these leads, not just running estimates, but signing contracts and collecting deposits on work that came directly from Facebook ads. And when that happens, I want you to actually do the math. Look at what you spent, look at what you closed, and see where you're at. Because for most concrete companies at this budget level, somewhere around month 2 is when the numbers start making it really obvious that this is working. You spent $3,000, you closed 3 or 4 jobs at $8,000 or $10,000, and suddenly you're looking at a return that makes every other lead source you've tried look expensive. That's not a theory at that point. That's a truck rolling to a job site because of an ad you ran. And once you can see that, month 3 becomes a completely different conversation. Month 3 is where this stops being an experiment and starts being a system. By now, your cost per lead has settled into a range you can count on. You know roughly what you're paying per lead. You know how many of those turn into estimates, and you know how many estimates your team is closing. Those aren't guesses anymore. Those are your actual numbers based on 60 days of real data from your market. And that means you can start planning around them. You can look at your schedule 2 or 3 months out and say, I need this many jobs, which means I need this many leads, which means I need to spend this much. And you can do that with confidence because you've seen it play out twice already. Your crew is busier, your estimators have a steady flow of appointments going out, and you're not sitting there on a slow Tuesday wondering if the phone's gonna ring, because you know leads are coming in every single day, whether you're sitting on a job site or sitting in your truck or taking your kid to practice. The system doesn't stop running just because you're not thinking about it. And this is where you get to make a decision that most concrete companies never get to make. Do you want to scale this up? Because now you can, but you want to do it the right way. Don't double your budget overnight. If you go from $3,000 a month to $6,000 all at once, the algorithm's gonna scramble trying to figure out what to do with all that extra spend, and your cost per lead is gonna spike. Instead, bump it up 15 to 25% per week. So 3,000 becomes 3,500. Then 4,000 the week after that. Give the algorithm time to adjust at each level, and your cost per lead stays stable while your volume goes up. And here's what I really want you to take away from this. 90 days ago, you were either thinking about running ads and not sure if it was worth it, or you tried before and it didn't work, and you figured that was just how it goes for concrete. But the difference wasn't the platform, and it wasn't the budget. It was the plan. You had a campaign built the right way, you gave it time to learn, you had a follow-up system so leads didn't slip through the cracks, and you committed to 90 days instead of pulling the plug after 2 weeks. That's what separates the concrete companies that say Facebook ads don't work from the ones that are booking jobs off Facebook every single week. Now, Facebook ads at $100 a day is one of the best ways to fill your concrete schedule, but it's not the only place homeowners are looking when they need concrete work. Right now, there are people in your area searching Google, checking reviews, scrolling their neighborhood Facebook groups. And if your company isn't showing up in those places, you're losing jobs you don't even know exist. I made a video that walks through exactly where homeowners go when they're looking for a concrete contractor and how to make sure you're the one they find. And one of those channels is completely free and almost nobody in concrete is using it the right way. You can watch that right here.